many people speak about the slave Bible, right? But when I hear people explain the slave Bible, they explain it as if it's separate from the King James Bible. And I've heard you speak about the slave Bible. So can you explain your understanding of the slave Bible and its purpose?
The slave Bible is a Bible of pacification. This Bible was created by the Greek, who had a slave society. It was adopted by the Romans, who had a slave society. And it was used by the Portuguese, the Spaniards, and the English. Now, the English gave us the last version, the King James Version. King James, could you imagine? King James is kind of like Abraham. What a horrible person. King James killed all those wives of his. He was like, Moses, Abraham, had, he wanted to kill his own son. Deranged people. And these deranged people have given us, one, the Abrahamic faith, and one, the King James Version. And in this Bible, you can Google it, how many times is the word slave mentioned in the Bible? What does religion, the freedom of your soul, where does slave fit into that? And if slave fits into that, that to me is already a nullification of what is supposed to be freedom. Religion, spirituality, is about freeing your soul to be happy, to enjoy what the Creator has given us, to enjoy this moment. Our ego forgets the fact that we did not choose consciously that we will come here as humans. Just like you cannot choose when you die where you will go. There is a stronger force. So the idea that somehow we can corrupt that force is, to me, unholy, is unreligious, is unspiritual. But embedded in all this stuff, and this is why it works, because you get a little bit of truth here, and you get a little corruption there. A little more truth here, a little corruption there. So then you start swallowing the corruption that's been woven in with the truth. And you get to a point that, you just, I'll just cherry pick it. I'm just not going to pay attention to it. But I'm going to stay in this faith. But, that's where faith becomes delusional. When we ignore the stop signs, when we ignore the red flags. So people say, well, if I give up faith, then how do I know I'm going to be okay when I die? See, that gets to the death insurance. You didn't know, you didn't have anything to do with you getting here. There's nothing you can do about where you're going to go to the next place. Only thing you can do is live out fully this life and try to live it as the Egyptians say, in a righteous way.
And from listening to you explain, it seems like there's control on two parts. There's a level of control from those in power, but there's also a level of control from the recipient. Like they're trying to have some control over their life, not accepting that. How much control do we really have?
Well, that's true. But the other thing, too, is that we are afraid to take responsibility for ourselves. Each and every person, fundamentally. Like we're also afraid to be alone, fundamentally. So how do we solve that problem? We then anxiously give power to someone else. You anxiously give power to your priest. You anxiously give power to your minister. That's another person just like you. Come on, excuse me. Where do they get? How is it that they receive such power more than what you have? You have the same power if you just dig into it. And it's not about an issue of power. It's an issue of being and feeling it's okay. Like the African religion, there's no original sin. So the patriarch religion pulls you in and makes you think that there is original sin, and makes you think that you are unholy. And therefore you need them who are not holy, because they're just like you. So I don't want to, my thing is that just like I learned at Tuskegee how to broaden my view about how we all approach the Creator, I think of it as if you look at a circle and you put a pen in the middle, how many ways can you reach that pen?
Unlimited.
So when we do a pizza cut and cut off a slice, now you've cut yourself off from so much about nature, so much about life, so much about joy of the heart, joy of the mind. You accept, when you walk into that religious patriarch thing, you're walking into a prison. You say, okay, close the door, the world only exists here. Well, that's a limitation that we put upon ourselves, that we don't have to.
And listening to you talk in reference to the slave Bible, it seems why it's so important to have that concept of hell.
Hell does not exist in African religion. Hell is a patriarch invention. Hell is meant to scare you. Hell is based on superstition. So you have to decide, do I want to live a superstitious life? I'm not saying that I'm not telling you to go out and curse out, Christians and stuff. I'm not saying that. Because, people have a right to feeling comfortable. What may be comfortable for you may not be comfortable for somebody else. And there's no reason to demean them for that or compare yourself to that, because that's ego. And if you look at the Egyptians, you don't get ego. Ego is trying to have control, and control is 100% of nothing. So if you can cleanse yourself of that, then you find there's no need to be critical of if someone believes something different than you, because you have that unlimited circle again. People can see life from many different parts, and all of it is legitimate, as long as it's you're not creating a war from it, But hey, to each his own. That's fine. But no, to each his own, I say, please learn the other parts that you right now feel you don't need to use. Because once you learn them, it may then put a lot of stuff that you do now in perspective. It may reinforce some things. It may make you question things. It may make you abandon things. But that is your right as a human to make decisions. That is just giving yourself power. But don't make those decisions out of ego. Don't make them out of, that I gotta, that no matter what, I gotta stay in this jail.